I found Martin Sherrod to be very professional. I found her telephone manner to be very good. I found the promptness of after every meeting or after every conversation, she would often follow up with an email, which I found to be highly personalised. So I didn't feel as if it was a sort of cut and paste email, which a lot of companies will rely on these days. So it was a highly personalised email. And I also found that any time I called her, she had time for me, and she spoke to me like an individual, always knowing about my situation, always being quite delicate when discussing the situation, and was always asking me, what is it you want to do? Rather than, when can I get the keys off you? When can I sell the property? I always felt that I was in control of the situation and she was there to help. I've actually worked in financial services for a number of years, and a number of those years were spent setting up mortgages for people, which has meant that I've had to deal with estate agents as part of arranging surveys and all these sorts of things. And you get a feel when you speak with offices on the phone whether or not they're organised, whether or not they do the things they say they're going to do, they keep to the time frames. And I think one of the problems with a lot of estate agents I dealt with is they simply weren't professional people. They weren't comparable with solicitors or accountants or lawyers. And I do actually find Martin Sherrod to operate on that level. They always do what they say they're going to do. If they say they're going to meet you at a particular time, they'll be there at that time. And everything is very, very professional. And I just got the overall impression that they take what they do very seriously. I really did. I felt that Susan takes her job very, very seriously. And to be honest, all the other people in the office do as well. And this is why I'm so impressed with Martin Sherrod. The principal reason is, yes, they sold the property, and that's what I initially hired them to do. But what was so good about the service that I received from Susan, and also from Rachel, I must say, in the Barnet office as well, was the way they held the sale together. It was I won't go into the reasons, but it was a very, very complicated transaction to do with the type of property, to do with the time frames, to do with the mortgaging of that type of property, and also to do with the fact that I was under a very great deal of pressure to sell that property in order to purchase a bigger property because of events that were taking place in my life at the time. And I was under tremendous pressure, and every single time that I called up either Rachel or Susan, they seemed to know far more than I did. And I thought I was quite proactive, but they had been liaising with the solicitors, they'd been talking all the way with the buyers, with their mortgage broker, and I knew that if I called Susan, she could give me a comprehensive update whenever I needed it. And that alone really, really put my mind at rest, and it saved me from driving myself insane. So I agreed to do this testimonial today really because the whole process had the potential to go terribly, terribly wrong. And I've actually completed on the property in question today. It's taken a very long time, and it looked a bit hairy at times, and I wasn't sure it was going to happen. And I can only really thank them for making sure it did go through. Because without them, with any lesser agents, with any people who weren't perhaps quite so skilled, I'm 90% sure this wouldn't have happened. And if this didn't happen, that would have prevented me from buying a larger property, which would have had huge ramifications on my family life. I would thoroughly recommend Martin Sherrod to anybody selling in the sort of the North London area, simply because they are so much more than people to sell the property. Anybody can put a property on an internet website, that's fine. But what you then need is the expertise to carry the sale through. It's getting very, very hard these days to secure mortgage finance, certain types of property. It's not always so easy. There are so many things that can go wrong, especially when you're part of a chain, that you need a very, very good estate agent to do that for you. My solicitors, they did a particular type of job, but it was purely the conveyancing work. They didn't hold the sale together. That was purely Susan, that was Rachel as well, I suppose, at Martin Sherrod. And if you're looking for an estate agent, that's what you need to know they can do. And Martin Sherrod are capable of doing that.